Hello, WFUZ-TV family. We're back because we didn't really go anywhere. What do we want to talk about today, Blair?
So I want to get in very briefly and do a quick video about knowing your worth and about feeling comfortable saying no and walking away from things that do not serve you and people who do not serve you and anyone in the community, and that we should be wary of. This is a warning, I guess, of sorts.
What kind of people? Exploiters? Dollar danglers? Those types?
We like to call them dirty dollar danglers. They're people that dangle money. They try to use leverage. They try to prey on people in bad situations, vulnerable populations, in order to get something for themselves. Opportunists, if you will. And I recently had the misfortune of being introduced to somebody who fits this to a T, and who, of all my time in Gulf Shores, I've never met anybody like this. And this is a lot to shock the senses out of me, given the political climate that I work in and how I'm dealing with people on different sides of the political spectrum and enemies of sorts all the time. And I do it well. I navigate that space and I walk with my head held high, and I'm able to really work with anybody. But I finally found a person that I absolutely cannot work with, and that is a very low moral character, poor integrity soul. Like, this person is just to their core. I've never met somebody whose soul was like, wow, that's a vindictive, cruel person who I can't see their point of view one bit. And I have, and I'd like to talk about that experience.
We'll go right ahead.
Okay, so I am in a position, or was in a position, and still kind of am, where I needed help rehoming my dog, be it a foster situation, a new home, whatever. And I don't want any lectures about how, well, what happened? Doesn't matter. The point is, I needed help, and I was in a position where this was the only option for me. And it was the only thing that could work out. So I reached out to this person after seeing them out in the community in an event, and their mission aligned with helping dogs. So I was like, cool, maybe that person can help me and my dog, because we really need a solution here. I reached out to the person with no other expectation except maybe they can help me with the dog. And their first reaction was to demean me and lecture me and be like, well, why would you get in this position where you need help? What's wrong with you? And then I was like, well, let me tell you a little bit about my situation and why it came to this. And then they softened up and they were like, oh, I recognize you. You ran for city council. I know who you are. Wow, you've done a lot of things. Okay, I have empathy for you now. And their tone like totally shifted when they saw that they could possibly get some benefit from helping me. Like, how would it benefit them? There was no philanthropic, let me just help the dogs. It was, okay, this can help me in some way, so now I guess I'll scratch your back.
And so her initial response was my first red flag, and I actually asked you, I said, do you want me to write this person and bless them out, basically?
Yes, but I said no, and I can explain the situation, and they'll like come around, which I thought I was doing. So at that point, I decided the person, we were just texting, and then she was like, you gotta call me, I got somebody, situation handled, give me a call. Cool, I give her a call, and she says she's got a place for my dog out in Alberta. There's a person there that fosters and takes care of animals, and it wasn't meant to be permanent, but they were like, this is a couple months while you work on your stuff and get yourself a solution down the road. So I was like, awesome, what a relief, what a blessing. You have helped me with something that was heavy on my heart. I even said that word for word. I was like, what a blessing. This has been really helpful to me. It's like life-changing at the moment right now, because this was the kind of help I've been seeking and needing. And any of my friends and people around know that I've been seeking this, because I've looked everywhere. I have been trying to solve my dog situation for some time, and this came up, and I was like, thank God. So the person was like, well, you do this, that, or the other. You work on websites, and you work in politics, and you work in law, and you do all this, and you have great skill sets, and this is my business, and I think you could help me. And I was like, of course. Like, why would I not want to help another business? I'm always looking for new work. I'm always looking for new people to collaborate with. So I meet this person at a diner and talk to them for, hour and a half, 2 hours earlier in the week this week. And everything was cool. And they told me they're building a team of influencers, a team of people that can get things done. And at this point, their business, though they've come and said they have all this experience and all these things they've accomplished, like, I don't really have proof of any of that. Just seen them at one event in the community. Apparently they've done a couple events, but they proceed to tell me they don't even have an EIN number. They don't have the paperwork set up. They don't have this, and they need somebody to help with the infrastructure and to help get things rolling. Their website is just, very basic. And apparently I made the logo on their website too, which was funny because I didn't even do that knowingly, but the few things they had were things that other people had kind of plugged in for them. And I was like, yeah, this person needs help and I can definitely help. And I talked to them and they said, well, I will give you $1,000 a month to come on and help with these tasks and do digital and help infrastructure and help with like the logistics of things with their company.
That sounds good, right? But how much time did they want for that $1,000 a month?
They wanted full time. They wanted 40 hours a week or more. For
Who does that
$1,000
anymore? Who works 40 hours a week anymore? Young people? Do they even do that?
People do it, but that would equate to about $6 an hour for someone with my skill set. The minimum wage in Florida is like, I don't know, 15 or something, or lower than that, 13. I don't know, but it's going up to 15. So that's like way lower than minimum wage. And I'm doing very skilled work, not, it was just so insulting. And I tell them, like, there's just no way I'm going to work for that amount of money. I'm willing to do that, but it would probably be like 15 hours a week or something at that rate. And that's generous because I have multiple clients. I have things going on. I have work. I wasn't like desperate for work. I was desperate for help with my dog. That's why I came to this person, not for work. I have work.
Right. And I was privy to some of these phone conversations, talk about the love bombing. And I'll say, like, they just really could not imagine getting their money's worth for the 15 hours a week when realistically somebody doing remote work can get a hell of a lot done in 15 hours in a week for a business. But yeah, tell them about the love bombing, your family now and all that trash.
Oh yeah, within 24 hours, this person was saying, we're family now, including Thomas, because I said, this is what I would like for him. This is what he's working on. One of the things this person had brought up was a wedding venue, a particular venue. And I was like, cool, guess who does weddings? Music. Guess who does wedding video and drone? Guess what? We can be vendors there and be preferred vendors. I wanted connections and referrals because that's what people in business typically do. And if there's actual manpower and labor involved, I'm cool with that too if I'm paid appropriately, but I'm not cool working full time for someone else. Oh, and they wanted me to give up everything I was working on. So this was never discussed. It was just like, go forth, here's $1,000. We're a family now. We're all family. I would always take care of the people in the family. And this person was like, my kids aren't even going to get my company and don't even have, they're all doing their own thing. So I want somebody to leave this all too. I want to build a legacy. I want to do this, that, and the other. And you're the perfect person for this. It was like so much praise and talking highly of. And they had me on the phone for the 4 days I was interacting with this person. I was on the phone for hours and hours and hours. They were talking nonstop.
I was there. It was ridiculous.
And he called it idea harvesting, which is exactly what it was. Because they would come to me with a problem. This is what I'd like to solve. And I would be like, well, this is my people at the county. This is my people at the city. This is who you can help with this. And I would put the pieces together, a framework for solving that problem verbally to them on the phone. And then they would sit there and talk and talk and talk. And I would just talk through it. So I was just like, I don't know. That's what ChatGPT is for. Go talk to a robot about that. If you're talking to me, that's an hourly rate. Like, I am a skilled person with certifications, with history. I don't just give out that information for free. That's work.
You don't not pay a consulting fee for a consultant.
Right. Like, that is work. My mind is my work, and that's what it always has been. So after doing all of this and helping them set up some initial things and helping them get things rolling, about 15 hours into working for this person, I clarify because they are calling me in the middle of the day, nonstop, wanting this, wanting that. And I'm like, I've got things going on. I have family things I've got to worry about. I've got a daughter who's young who needs me and I got to pick her up from school. I work and I usually work at night, but I'm not the type of person you can just reach me randomly in the middle of the day and I'm sitting around doing nothing and I'll answer. I've got too much to do.
Talk about the content of some of the messages, downright to, are you okay?
Yeah, it was very, if you've ever been in like an abusive relationship where they gaslight you into why they're checking up on you nonstop, like, are you okay? I was just worried about you. I just wanted to know. I'm getting worried. You're not responding to me. Like, it was so controlling and strangely manipulative. And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. I've got stuff to do. Like, I don't understand this. So I'm like, I need to have a conversation with this person. This is like a Thursday now, and we kind of started on like a Tuesday. And
we met in person on the Tuesday at the city council thing.
Yes. We met this person after I invited them and reminded them that this was happening, the city council meet and greet. And I was like, you should go to this. You want to do, different projects at the city, whatever. There might be connections there for you. But that person went and told the venue that we previously were working with that they had a personal meeting with the mayor and that they were working in politics now and all kinds of other stuff. They just came out with things that were blatantly fluffed up and untrue to make themselves look better using my name and other people. I was not the only one. So I started doing research, and there's multiple associates of this person who will no longer work with them because they were upset they weren't getting credit for other people's work or trying to take credit for other people's work. Like, this person was just straight up
and downright condescending.
Yes.
Now, I actually got to meet this person at the meet and greet as well, and they were, again, oh, your family, oh, you're the most talented people I've ever met. They're so awesome, talking to other people, and dangled to the tune of about $20,000 that they were willing to invest allegedly in my coffee business, which sounds great, but again, grain of salt, because my first red flag was the initial contact about the dog, and then just the wanting to use her for so much time for so little money. And, it sounded good, but, again, grain of salt. And then go ahead.
Yes, and then I finally get the person on the phone to clarify things. I'm like, we've got to talk through this. Something isn't adding up. You want a lot more from me than I possibly could give. And I came very tactfully and respectfully. I was like, misunderstanding. We don't have a meeting of the minds here. This is not a good fit because I don't have the ability to put in all of that time for such amount of money. That's just frankly what it is. I'm not trying to work full time for $1,000. It's not happening. I just can't do it. And I don't think anybody really would. It's not feasible for our life. So I think anybody would respect that. I'm like, okay, it's not a good fit. I'll find somebody else. But they responded by saying, you're making a huge mistake. I'm very generous. I'm a millionaire. I've made millions in my life. I have money.
Gonna do this with or without you.
Yes. And when I said I didn't really feel like I was a good fit, it was, I'm going to do this with or without you. And then they accused me of trying to steal, like, well, you worked on this account. Are you just going to go approach them on your own? Or are you going to go steal my ideas? I'm like, I don't even work in your space. Like, the space they work in is a totally different area of work than what I do. So I'm not interested in stealing any of their things. That's not what I do. It just was so vindictive and strange and angry because I said no. Like, you should respect when people want to walk away from something that doesn't serve them. You should be allowed to say no and then walk away from things that make you uncomfortable or give you red flags or question it. Like, go with your gut. If something doesn't feel right, don't do it. And that's where I was. And I was like, this doesn't feel right. And she kept talking and talking. And it was like trying to break up with an ex-boyfriend and that you can't get off the phone with them. They're like gaslighting you. They're telling you like, this is a mistake. Come back, sleep on it, do this. Oh, before you do that, like here, like offering things. And it just would not allow me to walk away. And finally, he kept telling me, hang up the phone, hang up the phone, hang up the phone. Because it got so condescending.
And a lot of choice words in between that.
Yes. It was so mean. The way she was speaking to me, and I've never been spoke to like that by like anyone really.
Now, mind you, this is a senior citizen. At least they at least get AARP in the mail.
Yes, this is somebody, up there in age, and I was just shocked because it came packaged as a sweet little old person, and what appeared in that package was not what appeared on that phone call, and I was just like, oh man. I'm going to hang up now. I wish you well. That's how I ended the conversation. And I thought, whew, okay, that's over. Bandage off. It wasn't over. I get a call from the person that took my dog and an invoice from them. The problem that was supposed to be helped, now I'm being invoiced for $900 for my dog's boarding. Now, this place is not zoned commercial. It is not. I did not think this was like a boarding facility. And all of a sudden they're a boarding facility and I'm being charged $900. And I, write the person, I'm like, what is this? What's going on? And they were like, well, it was going to be taken care of and now it's not because I didn't want to work with the other person I'm referring to. And I was like, wow. So my help for my pet in a vulnerable situation was contingent upon me doing pennies on the dollar labor for you at your company. And when I said no, you revoke that help. That seems really vindictive and cruel. I've never seen somebody use an animal as leverage. And then I started talking to other people, and she's done this repeatedly to other young women, particularly young mothers who she sees as vulnerable, who are willing to do whatever, and she promises them money and investment and jobs and whatever else. And I have a help for your situation, and then you must do everything she says in the way she says, or nothing. Or I'm going to revoke the little help that I give. And I'm like, okay, like that's not happening. So yeah, that was really shook me. It was an experience that I thought was a wake-up call and a lesson learned. And I wanted to talk about it because watch out for people in this community. Like some people, I always encourage you to go talk to whoever you disagree with and figure things out. But sometimes you just can't. Sometimes you got to walk away from them because they're not a good person.
Old doesn't mean good. Just remember that.
No, and it also doesn't mean honest. Do your homework on everybody. Ask for references. Ask for reputation, because someone's reputation does precede them.
Especially if they brag about how much money they have.
Yeah. Wealthy people don't usually walk around being like, I've got millions, I'm wealthy, I can do this and that, but I won't. But just in case, here you go. It's so bizarre to me. And condescending, that's all it is. And it's ridiculous. But I'm glad that the experience happened, because it connected me to a bunch of wonderful people who we are going to work together. We're going to make some really cool stuff happen at different places in the city and in the county. And that would not have happened had this really cruel person not kind of connected the dots for us. So, there's always a silver lining, and there's always a bigger plan. And I think things will work out exactly how they're meant to work out.
Yep. So that's a lesson for us and a warning for you. That's WFUZ-TV out.